out here for you. So this is the first event of Ally Week, and thank you all so much for coming and supporting the GSTA. So I'm going to give it off to these guys for the Ally panel.
Hello, everybody. We're just going to introduce ourselves before we start the panel. I'd just like to say thank you for coming. My name's Digby. My pronouns are he and him, and I am a sophomore. My name's Wiley. My pronouns are he, him, and I am a sophomore.
And my name's Max, and my pronouns are also he, him, and I am a senior. So to begin,
Here are some quick definitions of what it means to be an ally. An ally is a person who is in the way that we are using today, is a person who is supportive of the LGBTQ plus community. Another more dictionary example is a person who is not a member of a marginalized or mistreated group, but who expresses or gives support to that group. We're going to be using some terminology today that some of you may not know, and we'd like to define them for you. So to start, LGBTQ plus is an acronym which stands for lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, and queer. Gay is attraction to the same sex and is an umbrella term that can be used to refer to different groups of people. Lesbian is when females are attracted to females. Cisgender is when a person identifies with the same gender they were assigned with at birth. Transgender is a person who identifies with a gender that they weren't assigned at birth. Bisexual is attraction to both sexes. And queer is an umbrella term for anyone who identifies as LGBTQ+.
So, just to address the topic of slurs, we're trusting you guys as high schoolers that they won't be used at all in any sort of setting, especially in a school setting. Just for the fact that they're offensive and degrading, I'm not going to say them. You can see them and you can read them, but they're offensive and degrading by showing inherent discrimination against like the LGBTQ plus community, and it proves that when it's used in a certain location, it proves that the space at that time is not inherently safe, which can actually make, me personally, and I think other people as well, who are within the community, it makes us feel really just embarrassed, but also uncomfortable. So just please refrain from using them. It serves no purpose to use them in general. The only reason that those words will be used to describe someone of the LGBTQ plus community is to intentionally hurt them or degrade them into belittling them, essentially. So, it serves no purpose than to hurt someone else, and just all opinions aside, every human deserves to be treated with kindness and respect, and that is just basic human values, not only within the school setting, but also just in general, at home, in the workplace, in public. Just treat everyone with the kindness and respect that you would want to be treated with as well. So, another thing is, to go along with that, we are humans, and I think that's sometimes not conveyed enough. We need to emphasize that everyone has equal rights and we should be treated the same as you guys, and we are not defined as our sexuality. And I think that's something that needs to be said right now due to, the present day, because there are a lot of people, I see slurs, I hear slurs like the ones above all the time, and I would prefer not to, but here's the thing, some ways that you can help. If you see them online, don't get too involved unless it's necessary. Read the room, essentially, read the situation. Definitely report the comment, because most social media websites do have outlets that they will use to remove comments and take action against the people who use the terms. But then if you see this happening in person, if you see a targeted bullying of sorts to the LGBTQ community, just assess the situation from afar at first. But if someone looks like they're struggling and maybe looking embarrassed or hurt or even threatened, you need to step in and you need to go up and assess personally, like, you know, get in and just ask like, hey, what's going on? But one thing is don't retaliate on the person. It's not necessary, and it's just simply tell the perpetrator to just lay off and to just to stop. It's not, if you fight violence with violence, you're just going to be met with more violence. So if you treat violence with just calm and just let it be, take further action later. Don't take further action on your own in the moment, because there are adults that can help with this type of stuff. But also take the victim of the LGBTQ community, take them to a safe space, just make them feel wanted and sort of that they matter, because typically in those situations with bullying, it can be very degrading and it makes you feel personally less of a person. So just try and make them feel a little bit better about themselves, even though time will really be the biggest aid to that. But then also in the situation, don't take complete control, because that can kind of, if you make a big scene, it's just going to humiliate. I know personally, it would humiliate me more if it draws a lot of attention to me if I'm in that situation. So just try and keep it cool and handle it within the bubble of the conversation. But just in general, again, just be kind to everyone and treat everyone with respect. I think as high schoolers, you guys are more than capable of doing that, and there are many of you that do that, so just why not continue that?
Okay. Privilege. Privilege is a special right or advantage that a certain group of people or person is granted. And this does play a part in being an ally. Privilege works where the more minority groups someone belongs to, the less privilege they have, and the less minority groups someone belongs to, the more privilege they have. For example, someone who is gay and transgender would have less privilege than a cisgender straight person. Privilege is really important when you're an ally, because people who may have points that are against the community or different views are more likely to listen and hear what people who are not directly from the community are saying. This doesn't go for all the time, but it does help if you are a straight cisgender person talking to another straight cisgender person who may disagree with you. Because oftentimes the opposing person can see themselves in the person that is talking to them, and then question their own beliefs, morals, and why they think the way they do because of that.
Okay. So, I just wanted to add one thing. If you guys have any questions, feel free to raise your hand and ask during, and one of us will answer. Don't hesitate, just lay it out on the open if you want. But simply, what does it mean to be an ally? Because a lot of people get the terminology as well as the concept. It's sort of jumbled and it's not very clear to most people. So I think, personally, if I can help clear that up, I think that would be great. So just to be an ally, just be supportive of everybody, as you would be, to people. Because, we are all people, and we all deserve the same rights. We all have the same rights. Keep an open mind. You don't know what someone else is dealing with, and if they feel that they need to open up to you, they will do that if they want, and it's your job to take that and receive that, and then make them feel valued, as well as just make them feel wanted. Accept what they have. If someone's taking something very personal for you, like telling something very personal to you, don't argue or refute with them. Just kind of accept it and just try and discuss something. Try and help them in any way that you possibly can. Because I know that means a lot, and this goes beyond the LGBTQ plus community. This is just for anyone. This is morals that we should all be carrying through life. all carrying through life. So what happens if you close off your mind to these people? It can reduce communication definitely between groups or anyone in general, because it makes the person not willing to share as much. And it increases hesitance for the party that needs some comforting or needs something from the person by opening up. So it's really important to just keep your mind open and to just listen to them, because I think it's very important to reciprocate, but also show that you're listening. Nod at them and feel like you're giving them your entire attention. But also, just being in the LGBTQ plus community isn't needed to be an ally, and I feel like that's a lot of what people are confused with. You don't need to be in the community to be an ally. You can be anyone. Everyone can be an ally if you choose. All it takes is to just do what I just said and just basically treat everyone with the same kindness and respect as you would normally treat someone. So what can you do as an ally in general? Again, treat everyone with kindness and respect. I've said that a lot. But then just always remember that sexual and gender or just identity does not define the human. If you can be whatever you want to be, as long as if you're a good person, that stuff does not matter. And I think it's not normally said, but it's normal to be in the LGBTQ community. It's not something that should be this extra thing that, it's out of the ordinary, because we're all people. So everyone is unique in certain ways, and really sexual preference isn't something that needs to be discussed between many people or needs to be violated by many people, which happens typically. It's a personal not even choice, it's a personal aspect of your being. And so just accepting that fact will help and go a long way. So again, if you see someone that is being victimized either in a school setting or a public setting, tell someone if you need to. Specifically in a school setting, I said before, we have the APs and the principal that will gladly help you out and will help you. If you see this, please intervene and tell an adult if it's absolutely needed. Because some of these slurs, as I said before, and these examples, they can really hurt a person really bad, and it's not good. So just please try and refrain from either saying them, but if you witness this happening, get involved, but also make a bigger point of following through and making sure this kind of stuff stops within any sort of situation. Provide a safe space. The school, if you notice, on a lot of teachers' doors, they'll have a safe space, and that just concludes that they'll listen to you again, and they'll be here to help you. They won't discriminate against you, and that's very important to have within a school setting, but also just anywhere. Provide a safe space for not only people of the LGBTQ community, but just for everyone. And that helps people just feel accepted, and as well as in school, personally, it improves the learning environment, just feeling comfortable, because not feeling comfortable or feeling not at ease can distract the mind, and it actually takes away from learning. So that can actually end up hurting you as a person if you're distracted because you don't feel safe. So please let someone know if you don't feel safe, and the staff in the school will try their best to help you. But also vote. Political party aside, just research your candidates that are representing your area in general, and make sure that their values hold true to your own, but also make sure that their values hold true, that they treat everyone with kindness and respect and as equals. Don't vote for someone that you think would not be a good candidate, no matter the party, but you need to find a candidate that, again, a lot of candidates are pro-LGBTQ+, but some of them aren't, so just make sure that, the candidates are, and make sure that it's Because if we can have more LGBTQ plus representation within the government, that would be great in passing new legislation as well as new laws that could help our community. I think that's it. Yeah.
Are there any questions? Because we can answer
Yes, we have
any
time.
of them.
So like what's the general accepted opinion on like use of like slurs or like the F slur like within the community as kind of like reclaiming the word? Like what is like the opinion on that?
Sort of within the community, personally, I feel it's more relaxed, but you have to you have to ask people.
Oh.
Because I mean, I have friends who are within the community that like I've said like you can just call me the F slur. Like it doesn't matter to me because I know it's not coming in haste. I know that it's coming just as joking around, you know, and it's something that friends and I have mutually agreed with, and I feel like that's really important. Don't just, because if you're both within the community, don't just call someone that without their permission because people are like, whoa, don't do that. Make sure that it's okay and just ask them first if it's okay, because some people may not be comfortable with some of the terms, but if you're fairly close and within the community, I mean, the rules are a little, not really rules, but the acceptance is a little bit different. Just try not to use them outside and as derogatory, because that's when it really gets bad.
And I'd like to add something to that. Personally, like, I wouldn't want someone to call me that, but I think that there is a very clear power in reclaiming what used to be used only as something to put people down. Because once you take that back, the word kind of like loses its harshness to the community. That absolutely, you should not be using it in a derogatory way. But once a group of people reclaims a word like the F slur, it can be really empowering to the LGBTQ plus people. Would you like that?
No, I think you guys pretty much covered it.
I have a question. So Max, you mentioned that sexuality and gender identity are just like one sliver of how we are one aspect of our humanity. And I'm just curious, so we all know that you guys are GSTA members, right? Can you, each of you, talk a little bit about what else you do? Like what some other slivers of your lives are?
Yeah, I'll go first. Yeah, I'm not just in the GSCA. I'm quite involved in after-school activities. I'm in the musical. I'm the president of the South Portland High School Beekeeping Club. Yeah. What else am I in? I'm in the jazz band. I'm really involved in a lot of band activities like marching band in the fall.
Yeah, so personally, I am gay, but there are a lot of other facets to me as a person. I love plants. I know it's really weird, but that's my hobby. It makes me happy to take care of them. I have a lot in my house, and maybe in my future I'd like to do something with that. But I also love music. I play the saxophone, and I love art too. I paint and draw in my free time.
I am kind of involved a little bit of everything. I try and dip my toes in the water in sort of every sort of thing that I can possibly fit in my schedule, which may not seem healthy, but I actually really enjoy it, and if I don't keep myself busy, I will go stir crazy. So I'm involved in a lot of music stuff. If you've been to any of the marching band stuff, I was drum major this past year. I not only am in the GSTA, but I'm vice president, as well as I'm also vice president of National Honor Society, as well as the Tri-Am National Honor Society. I am in jazz ensemble as well as symphonic band. Student government, I'm one of your school board representatives for students, so if you have anything that you need to talk to me about that, please do not feel shy. I'm in student senate. I'm going to be in the musical this year, and I think there's way more, but I'm just going to
As social media
let situations go. Rather than commenting and reporting, like if you don't think that the comment section is a safe place to address the situation, can direct messaging or reaching out to the person who posted it without the comments be a good idea depending on the situation?
Yeah, so I think you do have to kind of read that to your own ability. But especially if you know the person and you see those things, that can be a better way, because instead of like being in the comment section with a crowd mentality of victimization and hurting other people occasionally, direct messaging someone and saying like, hey, I'm wondering why you said these things. It can be a good idea, although sometimes that can lead to a bigger issue than something needs to be. I know personally if I see something like that, I leave it alone because I don't want to like deal with a person like that in my DMs. But yeah, if you feel comfortable doing that, I would suggest that you go on your actions, but just you need to be very respectful. If you lash out at that person, call them names, or are aggressive in any way, they're not going to hear what you're trying to say at all, and it's just going to fall on deaf ears and your message will be lost.
Sort of to add to that, you don't have to comment and follow up on the post, I would say, but always reporting the comment is a good idea just because it's anonymous, so it will be removed if it's found in violation. So that just eliminates the fact that it's out there, so people won't necessarily see it. Although it's always maybe a good idea to check up on the victim who it was posted on, as well as like, hey, are you okay? Like I saw someone posted this, like I reported it. I just wanted to follow up. That's what I'm doing.
Does anyone else have any more? Yes, Blake, sorry.
What is GSTA, and can I go if I'm not gay?
Yes, the GSDA is the Gay Straight Trans Alliance. Anyone is welcome who is an ally and will be respectful. It's open to everyone within the school. We meet every Monday, almost every Monday after school, and we go until about 3:30, and then the meeting ends. Normally it goes a little longer, but you can stay if you want, or you can go, and it's really relaxed. But yeah, we do stuff like this, and sometimes we have food, occasionally, so.
Just to add to that, it's also a safe space, not only for the LGBTQ population within the school, because there are a lot of members of that, and it's great to see that, but also anyone in general. As a group, we're not discriminatory. We'll just accept you, and if you just want to join just for the fun, just come, and we're not going to do anything. It's a really good time. It's very chill, and you don't need to come to every meeting. It's good to just make yourself present, as well as just show that you want to be involved, but also just it's very lax. So if you have something like, hey, I need to go take a test, go do that. And it's helpful that we end at 3:30 because you can make the late bus, so if you need to do that, and I understand that sometimes sports and extracurriculars after school get in the way of that, so.
Are there any other questions? Yes.
As someone who is part of the LGBT community, can you describe to everyone who doesn't know the difference of pansexual and bisexual, because there is a clear difference? Some people don't know the difference.
So, pansexual is sort of attraction to everybody, no matter what gender expression, sexuality, identity that they have. But then bisexuality is being attracted to both men and women at the same time. They can go either way. It's sort of, people can lean more towards one gender than the other, but there's a clear difference because they aren't the same thing. They're represented very differently. And did I do a good job of explaining that? Okay.
And also with pansexuality, it's more attraction to the person than the gender they are. I mean, of course, with every relationship, you have to enjoy that person and their company and who they are. But most of the time with like bisexuality, it's like, I like men and I like women. But with pansexuality, it can be like, I am willing to be in a relationship with someone who's non-binary, which is someone who doesn't fit the binary gender of man and woman. They could be agender or identify as more than one. Yes.
I just wanted to say really quick that that will be talked about more tomorrow at our guest speaker's presentation. I just wanted to add that on real quick.
Thank you guys all for coming, and please, teachers who are here, keep signing up for events this week. We really appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you guys.
Thank you.
A proud parent. Good job, that was good.